So I'm going to run through a case study around some of the work that we've done with Anzen. Anzen, are you here? Woo! Where's Brendan? Oh, he's gone. Okay. Anzen, we've known Anzen through the community for a long time, but they approached us quite recently and said, we want to take down Ecommerce. Ecommerce was bought by SAP in 2020. And since then, most of the product updates have been very B2B focused, which is great if you're a B2B brand, but there's a ton of D2C brands that are using Ecommerce that could be moving over to Klaviyo and making an impact there. So we sat down, we figured out how do we create this takedown campaign, and we worked with Anzen, the team at Anzen, and Klaviyo as well to help kind of fund this. So I'm going to talk through the setup and why there's a man called Gary on a forklift. So the TAM is quite niche. The total accessible market is quite niche, but it's quite accessible. So we were looking for enterprise D2C brands on Ecommerce in the APAC region. We used store leads initially to find some of those brands. Store leads is fine, but it's very Shopify focused, and we're going to see when we realised what we're digging into, there were a lot of brands that were on things like Magento, SAP, Salesforce Commerce Cloud. So we combined that with our built with list. Again, that's fine, but it's not entirely accurate. We merged the two together in Claude, found the discrepancies, and then we have a big list that we can target out onto LinkedIn. And we use that because the smaller your list on LinkedIn, the more your ad revenue goes in terms of the target space. Then we realized, actually, these enterprise brands, we need to personalize that buying committee. So if a marketer is going on there and they see the landing page or whatever we're going to do, they want to be able to see something different to a founder or to a data person or a manager. So we wanted to personalize it to the buying committee. And then finally, if you were at my talk yesterday, you know that we need attention. So we have a relatively limited budget. So AI was the way forward. But we needed to lean into AI, not hide away from the fact that we're using AI for images and videos, etc. So lean into the absurdity of it was still an element of quality. And that was where we came up with Gary. So this is Gary, our forklift driver. He represents Ecommerce, the B2B platform for D2C brands. So then we needed to figure out something that's worth gating as well, and we need to find the unpromptable element, which is Esme Skincare, one of the brands that Anzen helped migrate away from Klaviyo, away from Ecommerce and onto Klaviyo. They were great. They gave us some really nice insights. They did a webinar and a podcast, and we used all that content to then create the personalized landing page. I'm going to show you some videos of these ads. So we created about 7 ads in total. Each one is tailored to different verticals, so we can then create these ads to push out to food brands, fashion brands, perfume brands, etc. That way, it's instantly recognizable. It leans into the absurdity and grabs attention, and then brands will click through. So hopefully these videos will play. So obviously leaning into the absurdity, it's eye-catching. The idea here is that message wouldn't resonate unless you were on Ecommerce. But if you are on Ecommerce, you'd see that and be like, that's quite interesting, clever, let's click through. So then the next stage is creating a landing page. We use Lovable. We're one of the top 10% of partners in Lovable. We build everything on there now. And we decided we wanted to create a really personalized landing page for this. I don't know if you can hit play on this. It should be muted, this video. Anyway, it's built on Lovable. And as we scroll down, what we can do with Lovable here now is we change the gate. So we're A/B testing where the gate comes in, whether it's chapter 1 or chapter 2. So we changed the gate, so we're running A/B tests to see where the most efficient place to put the gate is, whether or not we give lots of content. We're also showing them the ability to sign up to the webinar before we add that gate in. And then when we do personalize, what we're doing is we are grabbing their email address and the website, and then we change the entire content based upon what we scan it for. So we're here in this example, we're going to target Puma, the AU version of Puma, and then what it will do is scan the entire website, figure out what tech stack they're on, figure out some of the products that we can personalize it with. It personalizes with the name and that kind of thing. But then it will also change some of the different content based upon what vertical they're in. So it knows it's in sport and fitness, and then as it scrolls down, it should change in a second. There we go. So that it changes the ad to the sport and fitness one. The entire thing is designed to be as fluid as possible, and you can see as we go down here. This has gone live yesterday, so there aren't any results to show just yet, but hopefully we'll see some in the next couple of weeks. But I'm going to bring up Brandon to talk about the experience of working with me. Round of applause for Brandon. The client. Here we are in a jazz club. Brendan and I have been in a jazz club in Australia, Edinburgh, Texas, and now Belgium. So this is great. I want to talk to you about the way that Klaviyo funded this, because it was slightly different to a traditional kind of MDF. How did that conversation start, and what did they kind of want back?
So their sales team is targeting a master's, so they had some budget to go towards this. Normally we would have an MDF application process. It's a pretty standard form, you fill it out. But for this, because it was a very specific program that they were running internally, they came to us and asked if we wanted to be involved, and if so, if we could put together a proposal.
So, I mean, do you ever kind of go up to Klaviyo as well and just be like, what's the sales team working on? How can we get involved in that?
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the genesis of this one. We were already having discussions with their AE team, so we sort of knew what they were working on. It did start out as a Salesforce program, but yeah, then the company sort of changed direction, and yeah, we got involved.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously owned by SAP. Was there anybody in Anzen that was a bit worried about going after the massive company like that?
There definitely were a few.
Yeah.
But I think we did it in a way where we weren't directly criticizing them. I think we were critiquing or criticizing the direction and how that impacts the brand. So I felt pretty comfortable in the language that we used and the sort of tongue-in-cheek nature of it, rather than just straight slander.
Yeah. And Klaviyo Legal signed off on everything as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And Esme, like the case study itself from on there, like it's case study inside a case study at the moment, so we're going meta.
Very meta.
But Esme went on record saying that their old platform kind of wasn't good enough. There's some real nice insights into that. How do you lure that out of the client?
So I think the good thing here is that like it's not Klaviyo saying this, it's not us as the agency saying this. Like this is the direct customer, their experience. So having them do a podcast with them, and then a webinar, and just asking them direct questions about their experience, and then using that as content, I think that was key.
Yeah, nice. Someone wanted to run something similar with their own platform partner. What would you give them as a piece of advice?
I think understanding their goals, understanding the metrics. So for us, it needs to have a clear ROI. We're not going to get this approved unless we can show value. So a lot of the proposal was working out, okay, what's the addressable market? Who are we likely to get on board? What is our chances of closing? What is our historical close rate? And then how valuable are those potential brands? Running those numbers back, as long as there's a strong ROI on the investment, it's a pretty compelling case to make, but you have to do the numbers.
There's spreadsheets for that. I have a spreadsheet for that.
You could use AI too.
Yeah. What? Does anybody have any questions for myself or Brendan? Yes, so part of the ad budget is, part of the funding is for the ad budget. And yeah, it's all across LinkedIn. We actually got some of the guys here, Pip and Daniel and Brendan, a bunch of the others from Anzen, all posted individual videos, and then we sponsor those. So sponsored posts from people get way higher engagements across LinkedIn ads. At the moment, it's LinkedIn ads because there's limited budget on that, but I think if it shows a success, we can push that out to different channels as well.
Yeah. the proposal was a combination of ad spend, sponsored posts, the actual hours and work that goes into it, and then some venue, because at the end of this, we're also going to run a live masterclass as well. So take the interest in the podcast, the registrations on the webinar, and then narrow that down to an in-person masterclass in Sydney, and then try to really close those deals.
There you go, a full funnel. Any other questions? Yeah.
Then I didn't get how you're using the personalised landing pages. How are you using the personalised landing pages? Is that like emailing it to people?
No, so they put in when the gated form comes up, they put in their URL, and then in the background, it quickly scans the source code of what's visible on there. So it does things like, it looks for triggers for things like Shopify or Salesforce. It looks for triggers on known tech stack that integrates with Klaviyo, and then it shows, oh, you're on Zendesk, we integrate with Klaviyo, you're on whatever, Kendo, and then it talks about that. But it's all done within the background, it's all powered inside Lovable as well, so there's no external API calls there. It's really fast as well. It takes like 1.5 seconds. Thank you very much, Brendan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the robots took our jobs, and other predictions we got wrong. I wanted to do like a bit of a history lesson on things that changed and like predictions that have gone wrong when change happens. And then I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that are happening outside of our industry, inside our industry, where we can kind of predict a bit more about the future and hopefully reassure you that the robots aren't going to take all of our jobs. Maybe Brendan's, but we'll see. So, yeah, in the 1970s, the first ATM machines land. The obvious conclusion to that is that bank tellers are done. What actually happened, though, is each branch needed fewer tellers, from about 21 to 13. So branches got cheaper to run, and banks opened 43% more of them. The net effect is there's more tellers, not fewer. The job changed from counting cash to helping people who were making money decisions that the machine couldn't do. The job teller did eventually shrink, but that was because of our mobile phones, and that's a different market altogether. Another one, VisiCal. So very similar. VisiCal was launched in 1970. It kind of was getting rid of bookkeeping, essentially. So the clerks who only did the arithmetics, about 400,000 of those roles were gone, but it made about 600,000 new roles in accounting. So cheaper number crunching meant more people wanted it, more companies could then do it, and the routine kind of got automated. And then the car. Everyone's been in a car, got a car. Obviously, like, you can imagine it, right? When the car first came out, you could see all the blacksmiths and the people who owned horses and stables or whatever, like, struggling to get their head around the concept of this change. But it wasn't that those jobs were going to be lost, it was going to be moved. And it's things like motels in America came about, like traffic reporter, drive-thrus. The entire logistic industry has changed because of cars. And nobody knew that. Nobody knew that when the cars were invented. It was just like, oh, we're going to replace the horse. But there's such a bigger impact on that change. I do believe that that's probably the most comparable change that we have to like AI as well. And it's happening again. So I love this case study. IKEA put on a bot called Billy, after the Billy the bookcase, on customer service. It now handles around 47% of queries, the boring kind of 47%, where's my order kind of stuff. They didn't sack the 8,500 call center staff that they were that they could have replaced. Instead, they retrained them as interior designers that they could then offer that as a new service. And that now generates 1.3 billion euros a year. So the staff headcount is the same. Instead of being a revenue line, it then became a profit margin. So there you go. Please don't sack people if you get AI to do the job. Just retrain them at something else. Offer a new service. And then the one that everyone's been predicting has finally come true this year. The near solo billion-dollar company happened. So a guy called Matthew Gallagher built Medvi. Started with about a 20K investment. AI does everything from the code, the ad creative, copy, support, etc. And now they're tracking towards $1.8 billion in revenue. If you want to check them out, they sell GLP-1, fantastic. It's made me lose weight. And a slight caveat on this, he is getting sued and getting fined at the moment because he's spam marketing. But, you know, he's breaking down walls. So yeah, this is what hopefully I want to kind of reassure you that the pattern doesn't change. Machine takes the promptable work every single time, and humans move up to what is essentially the unpromptable. So yeah, hopefully this year it isn't to out-type AI, it's to find your unpromptable bit and just get very good at it. That's it from me. Thank you very much.